again, I'd like to speak a little bit about, let's say, psychology, or how the mind and the emotions and the body are all interwoven and interconnected, because this is something that medicine of this age has sort of dissected us into different parts. And we have specialists for the liver, specialists for the joints, or specialists for the thyroid endocrine system. And even then, if there's also this dissection between the mind or the emotions and the body. And I think for us to have a more realistic and a way of seeing ourselves as human beings, as having a very, very strong spiritual component, which is not really spoken about or really considered in medicine much these days. So I think part of this spirit is what I've referred to before as this innate wisdom, this innate physician that has been with us since the moment of our conception and was there with us during our journey, that 9-month journey inside the womb, forming all these miraculous, interlooping, interwoven systems, and to come out, a living, breathing being. And that same wisdom has been with us from the very beginning, and is with us right now in every moment of our waking and sleeping day. And this is what is promoting and wishes for us to express not only vitality and health, but also an expression of who we are, of our inmost being in the world, in our life, whether that be something very creative or purposeful. Everybody is very, very different, but there is some purpose for which we have been brought into this existence. And a lot of the healing, what I've realized over the last 30 years, a lot of my interactions with people has been to try to help them become more in touch with or in tune with this spirit, that the spirit speaks to us through its means of communication, and the bodily communication is through symptoms. So if a person were to develop a physical symptom that is a means of the spirit communicating to that person, if it's indigestion, naturally we think back and say, well, what did I just eat? But if they get something like a joint pain, they don't often associate that with what could be the cause, unless it was something to do with an injury or accident. But every single cell is interconnected. No cell functions independently of the entire body. And we have the idea of what's called the autonomic nervous system, the two separate branches, the sympathetic and parasympathetic, and how these are always monitoring and trying to regulate all these different systems. So it may be that kind of the closest thing to spirit on the physical level might be the nervous system. But then again, inside the cells we have what are called mitochondria, which have an intelligence almost of their own in terms of how they regulate that cell's function, and they're actually able to replicate themselves. So there's many different levels of miraculous creation within us, which we are inhabited by, so to speak, this spirit. So how else does spirit speak to us besides communicating through physical symptoms or emotional symptoms? If we're going through a grief or a separation or whatever it may be, we're going to be producing mental symptoms of sadness or remorse or whatever it may be. And that is also connected with the biochemistry of the body. So in one way, the mind, the thoughts, the emotions instantly affect the biochemistry in the body. We know what it feels like physically to feel or think depressed. We also know what it feels like to have the surge of vitality in our body, and our mind becomes more acute and more focused and more productive. So they're both definitely intertwined. So the psychology part of this has to do with another capacity that we all possess. And this is the capacity to observe or to watch. It's pretty obvious that we can watch a pain in our knee or a limb. We're separate. In some ways we're separate from that pain. But that same capacity to watch could also be used to watch our thoughts or to watch our moods and not be the thought and not be the mood, not be the pain. So this capacity to be a little bit watchful or observant is really, really important in the process of purification, the process of healing. I've mentioned before about the healing crisis. The body goes into the throes of eliminating toxins, and the body is experiencing those toxins through various physical and mental symptoms. At the same time, we know that this innate wisdom, this physician internally, is helping to assist us to recover our health. So when we get into that situation of a healing crisis, or even in a relationship, or in our sort of reaction to a life situation, if we can maintain that observer, that capacity to observe, which is very neutral. There's an idea of the non-duality. In other words, the dualistic mind can be saying all the time, it's right or it's wrong. Or I'm right and they are wrong. Or they are right and I am wrong. It's like the polar parts of our brain, the different personas within us. And then this capacity to observe without criticism, without judgment, this non-duality part simply watches without necessarily having an opinion, so to speak. It's just watching. And this is very important for the process of healing. I remember a period of my life when I was getting headaches. My health is very good. I seldom get ill. I was going through a time of headaches, and I didn't know the reason. I was under a lot of stress looking back on it. But when I got the headaches, after a while I figured out that if I could just lie down and be silent and simply watch the headache without wanting it to go away, without being the headache, but simply watch its location, kind of what form it was taking, if it had sort of a certain tone or color to it, and more like an interesting observer, I noticed that it would dissipate. And this is very important during the purification as we pass through these periods of healing crises, to simply take the time to relax all the muscles in our body and to observe and watch what the body is going through as these toxins are being eliminated. So through the purification, we're actually getting in touch with this capacity in this sort of a surrendering to the process of purification or elimination. So we're trying to incorporate, to some extent, the body, the mind, and the soul or spirit within this program. And there are other things that we offer at this center. We have one of my key people, Stephen, who takes care of many things around the office. He's a very, very talented young man. And I think he's, if we could use that term in this part of the culture, a shaman or shaman, he is certainly gifted and has been from a very, very young age and very intuitive. And we work together sometimes with helping to clear people of experiences they're still sort of stuck in, to clear up the energy so it starts flowing again and much more able to then respond to the purification and come up on a new level without being pulled back by memories that are in the past. The person cannot seem to untie the shackles from those past experiences. Call it PTSD, whatever you want to call it. So that's part of the body, mind, spirit work as well. But really, we totally believe in what we're doing as far as the purification, and we're very much behind every person who wants to take on this new chapter in their life to rediscover and to have evoke or evolve the vitality that is hidden within most people. So I hope that was somewhat of a clear message about the connection between the body, the mind, and the spirit.